Okay. The Worldwide Church of God had its golden years in the 1970s and the 1980s. After Herbert Armstrong died, things got on shaky ground, and in the mid-90s, everything just split apart. The maximum number of congregants in the WCG was something around 120,000. The UCG is today the largest split. But the WCG has definitely left a very large footprint. I introduce to you the Hebrew Roots Movement. You may have heard of the term Messianic Jewish. These are not the same people. They are related, but they're like very distant cousins. Today, the movement has up to 300,000 followers, and it all stems from the WCG. Yeah, let me be fully transparent. I did not really know about the Hebrew Roots movement until recently, after starting this TikTok. I had heard of them. I knew that they were similar to, but not really the same as, Messianic Jews. I have also heard of the Black Hebrew Israelites. Again, not the same. But what are they similar to? I am astounded that I never knew how close they were. They are almost identical. You can pretty confidently say that people of the Hebrew Roots movement are direct successors to the WCG. But the one distinguishing feature is that they are not tied down to a group, meaning they're not centralized. But make no mistake, they are essentially Armstrongist.
Want to see what I found? Okay, so we got WD or DW. I don't know which one to go with first. For DW, we got Dean Wheelock. And for WD, we have William Dankenbring. Or Donkenbring. One of them. We'll start with him. It was him and his wife that actually got the trademark Hebrew Roots. I wonder where they came from. So this is his obituary. Oh look, they were in Pasadena. He was the band leader at Ambassador College. And they got the trademark around this time. And how about this happy guy? He founded a breakoff in 1995, after he was disfellowshipped in 1987. Interesting quote here that he gives. These two men were central figures to the beginning of the movement. Centralized or not, they are Armstrongist. Oh, look at what a quick shower and shave can do. I'm a new man. Wash, rinse, and repeat, just like the Hebrew Roots movement. But surely there must be something that separates this from this. Actually, there isn't too much. Wash, rinse, and repeat. But there are some interesting tidbits. One thing they particularly like to do is use this guy's Hebrew name. It's pronounced either Yeshua or Yeshua, depending on dialect. Jesus probably pronounced his name Yeshua, but, neither here nor there. And so the Hebrew Roots movement calls him Yeshua. They really don't like saying Jesus. And a lot of people are hell-bent on that being the appropriate way to address him. Hey, I call him Josh, but to each their own. They also prefer to use the Hebrew terms for God, or to use English translations of those Hebrew terms, like the name, for Hoshem. So what else is there about the Hebrew Roots movement? Well, let's define what they are not. This symbol, without the cross, is known as the Messianic seal, for Messianic Jews. Adding the cross is a stylistic choice, but the overall symbol has also become a mark for the Hebrew Roots movement. Messianic Jews come from the Hebrew Christian movement. Well, that isn't hard to distinguish. In the easiest way to explain it, Messianic Jews consider themselves actually Jewish. Hebrew Roots movement people are either Gentiles or Israelites. To be clear, Jews are 1/12 to 1/4 of the entire Israelite community. I myself have witnessed a Messianic Jewish congregation before, and it is not the same as the WCG or anything Armstrongist. So they are distinct. Back to the roots! The Hebrew Roots. What separates them from the Messianic Jews in terms of practices? Well, one thing is holidays.
Messianic Jews are big on Jewish traditions, like the carrying of Torah scrolls. So, for what the WCG and Armstrongist congregations call the last great day, Messianic Jews actually end the reading of the Torah and re-begin it. The Hebrew Roots people, though, celebrate the last great day. Same day, different custom. Strangely enough, Messianic Jews and Hebrew Roots movement people combined the Feast of First Fruits and the Feast of Weeks. Let me be clear, they were originally separate. The Feast of First Fruits begins the counting of the Omer. The Feast of Weeks ends it. Messianic Jews also highly revere Purim and Hanukkah. Hebrew Roots people kind of sort of do. And both sides wear tassels and prayer shawls. So what else actually separates the Messianic Jews from the Hebrew Roots movement? Well, both of them do the prayer shawls and the tassels. They also like to put handwritten 10 Commandments on doorposts. So all of these things seem to be similarities. So why are they not essentially the same thing? About half of Messianic Jews revere the Talmud. And you thought that the Bible was long. The Talmud is what is referred to as the oral law. Basically, it's the same oral law that Jesus talks about. There are differences, but it's essentially the same thing. The reason that the Hebrew Roots movement does what it does is because they believe that Jesus came only to abolish the oral law, not the Mosaic law. So all the talk against the law in the New Testament is interpreted as the oral law. It's the same spiel, same thought, same cult.